Nothing is revealed in its truest form. That's simply impossible. Whether it be what we view with our eyes or how we receive certain pieces of information, there is always a filter that distorts and manipulates the object being perceived to suit our experiences and beliefs. This filter is in effect for all humans across various locations and periods. During World War II, when the English wanted to decide which parts of their plane to strengthen and reinforce, this bias created the assumption that they should go for the parts where they see it's injured. This, which is incorrect, as they are discounting the fact that they cannot see the planes that were destroyed during the war, and ultimately missing out on the important parts that actually need reinforcement, which led to the destruction of the planes in battle. In present times, this filter led to people's reputation being destroyed due to one bad first impression, summarizing people's character with an incomplete set of information. This filter also plays a role in tricking our eyes about the world around us. So what is this filter? This filter is known as bias, meaning an inclination in temperament or outlook. Bias significantly impacts our decision making by shaping our perception and judgment. Thus, to make informed decisions, it's crucial to acknowledge and recognize the biases deeply rooted in our minds. Therefore, let us explore how bias distorts our perception of reality and how to combat it in decision making. I'll first tackle this from a visual standpoint. When our eyes open up and unveil the world around us, our brain takes in many pieces of information to help us make informed decisions. However, just how accurately does our brain process our surroundings? For instance, in certain cases, we cannot even determine the color of certain objects. As we all know, our eyes aren't scientific instruments, and that's good. After all, if there were merely tools that calculate the precise wavelength of each beam of light, then we'd be easily fooled when objects are being bathed in a specific shade of light. Therefore, when we see an object being shed in a specific color, our brain automatically filters it out. The reason why in famous color illusions, people couldn't decide what the color of the shown object was is because they used different filtering schemes when looking at the object. One prevalent example of this is the photo of the dress, in which some of you may be familiar with. In 2015, a blurry photo of a dress sparked fierce debate across the internet as to what color the dress really is. Some people think that this dress is yellow and gold, while others think that this dress is black and blue. How could this be? How could we look at the same image but see different things? Neuroscientists believe that this is because people use various filtering schemes which are impacted by their very own life experiences. Pascal Wallisch, a neuroscientist at New York University, thinks that in this particular case, for night owls, they are more likely to think that this dress is under artificial lighting, and filtering that lighting out would make the dress seem black and blue. People assume what they see more of, he says. If people are more familiar with bright and sunny colors, then they'll assume that that's the default color. Therefore, the main reason controversy arises around famous color illusions like the dress is because that people fill in the ambiguity of these stimuli with their own prior experiences. Apart from deceiving us about the world around us, bias also prevents us from taking in information in its original form. Whenever we try to comprehend the world around us, or when we interact with others, there's always a disconnection between our opinion of something and what it actually is. This is known as cognitive bias. There are two famous examples of this. The first one is the confirmation bias, When we try to comprehend the meaning of the world around us, we tend to prioritize information that already conforms to our pre-existing perceptions, where we tend to refute and overlook information that doesn't match our pre-existing perceptions. For instance, some of you may found out that you lean towards information that you encountered recently, or that you saw information that matches your first impression of certain subjects. All of these are instances of the confirmation bias. Confirmation bias makes us overlook key information, and in project this could lead to subpar results as we overlook potential possibilities in which we didn't explore. Another famous one is the false consensus effect. Typically, we overestimate the similarity of others' behavior and preferences to us. Thus, we create the assumption that others would agree with decisions we make without consulting them, which may not always be the case. For example, some of you may believe an idol you support is very popular, or that your peers like the same brand of clothes or food as you, which isn't the case. All of these are examples of the false consensus effect. The false consensus effect can lead to a lack of support for changes we want to make in certain projects, as we automatically assume that others would agree with our plans and decisions, which may not always be the case. Therefore, as our perception of reality isn't 100% accurate, it comes down to a question of how we make informed decisions. The answer is we can choose to be as objective as possible through analyzing and examining both sides of the equation, taking our personal feelings out of it, and try to delve deeper than what is shown on the surface. Just like how a horizontal asymptote gets closer and closer to its y value, we can choose to get closer and closer to the absolute truth. While the information revealed to us may not always be its true essence, we can use our critical deduction skills to try to get close to its true essence. And that's how we make beneficial and informed decisions. Thank you for listening to my TED Talk.